And today, Mark and I gonna bring to you the framework of how we could change the way we talk to ourselves. We have between 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And of all these thoughts, the research showed that 80% of those thoughts are negative and 95% of those are repetitive. And the persistent negative self-talk, it linked to so many different negative consequences. It could cause a higher level of anxiety, depression. It's gonna make us have lower confidence. It increase our stress hormone, and it reduce the immune function or our heart health. But you know what? Your thoughts are not facts. And Mark and I are gonna share with you stories and the frameworks how we can reframe these thoughts so that it serves us better.
You know, Tan, I have to confess that I've learned lessons the hard way with this. Early in my career, I was administrator of a nursing home, and everyone, it was a multi-facility company. All the other administrators that I went to their places, they all had a nice nameplate on their desk that had their name and the logo of the company custom made for them.
Mm-hmm.
And after 6 months of being the administrator, I still didn't receive one of those name desk plates. So I thought, oh my goodness, are they don't know if I'm going to make it, or are they going to let me go? I put the negative thought in my mind. And then they promoted me. And I never got the administrator nameplate, but I still have the regional director nameplate from that company that I've kept as a souvenir. And so I that helped me that in the future not to be concerned so much if I didn't get a desk nameplate, or if the boss called me into his office, I didn't immediately think, oh, I'm being called in to be disciplined or let go or something like that. I think, oh, maybe they're calling me in to promote me, or tell me I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, that's amazing, Mark. I have heard the story so many times, and each time I hear it again, I chuckle because it's so funny that you didn't have your nameplate, the official nameplate on the desk, and the immediate thought that you think is, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they think I'm not gonna make it. Maybe I'm gonna be let go. But the other extreme actually happened. They promoted you so quickly. So they didn't think of, oh, why give him this nameplate because we're going to promote him. And you got promoted within like 6 months or so, you got a director nameplate instead of the administrator nameplate. And that's come to say, whenever something unknown, uncertainty, and there's so many things happening nowadays that we immediately put in a negative thought. And I have here for our audience the framework that help you reframe that thoughts. So step number one would be to catch that negative thought. And the way we catch it is whenever we have a thought, we can ask it the question, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If this thought make you feel hopeful, make you feel positive, make you feel joyful, if this thought encourages you, then the thought is helping you. But if this thought make us doubt ourselves, make us feel bad, make it feel depressed, demotivating us, then the thought is hurting us. And if the thought is hurting us, then step number two, it would be to challenge its validity. We catch the thought, we can ask this question, is this absolutely true? Is there any other ways that we could think about it? Is there another way that we could look at it? Like, for example, when we don't have that, Mark didn't have that nameplate on the desk, the immediate thought that you have was, oh, I'm not good enough. The people think I'm not going to make it. What is it absolutely true? Is there another way to look at it? And maybe when we ask it, what are other options, other ways to look at it, we can have a list of all those things. Like maybe they forget about the nameplate, maybe they change the vendor who make the nameplate, or maybe they are going to promote me, or like I'm doing so well that maybe they give me a different name. Like there's so many different ways to think about it. So challenge its validity, challenge the thought that hurting it. Is it absolutely true? What are other ways to look at it? And the third thing we could do is we could correct it with evidence. So now that we challenge that, we can give the new thought the evidence. Oh, the evidence is I might be doing so well that maybe there's some changes, or then give it evidence like, here's the reason why I'm thinking I'm doing so well. Or, for example, if there is a thought is, my boss emailed me to meet, I must be in trouble, then we could replace it with, no, maybe it's something positive. And the evidence is, last week he just praised me about something, or I just complete this project on time, on budget. Give it evidence how this new thought, that more affirming, more hopeful, more helping thought will be correct. Like, I faced difficult before and I found a way through, so I will find a way through again. And step number 4, the last step, is to take action. What is it within your control right now? Even something small. It could be stand up, go out for a walk, call somebody that have the potential of lifting you up or encourage you, or write down the things that you're grateful for. Say something nice to you out loud. Because when we act, we move our body, we do something, it helps with the mental clarity and it helps with the forward momentum.
And those are rules that we should live by. Let me just share another time when I didn't live by that rule, and then maybe a time that I did better. During a dental appointment that was just routine, having my teeth cleaned. Afterwards, the dentist came in and he said, after he looked in my mouth, he said, I think we need to take a biopsy of this area. And so he deadened that area and took a biopsy, and he said, I'll give you a call as soon as we get the results from the lab. And a few days later, one evening or late afternoon, he called and I wasn't available. He left a message and he said, I'm going to be out of the office tomorrow, but you can call and talk to Deanna and she can give you the results. And my thinking was immediately, the reason he didn't leave a message was because it's bad news. And then I went to bed that night thinking, how can I feel so good when I've got cancer? And if I've got cancer in my mouth, chances are it must have spread throughout my whole body. And so that's when so immediately the next morning I got up and I called the office, and Deanna didn't answer, so I left a voicemail. And then a few hours later, she still hadn't called, and so I left another voicemail. And then finally, I left, and I thought, oh my goodness, Deanna feels so bad. She doesn't want to be the one to have to tell me that I have cancer. And so I sent an email and said, Deanna, I'm getting ready to take a flight this afternoon, so just leave me a message and let me know what the answer is. And about 11 o'clock that morning, she called and said, oh, Mark, just wanted to let you know everything's just fine. No need to worry. And so I thought, oh my goodness. And then I remembered what Zig Ziglar said. He had this acrostic for fear, and it said, false evidence appearing real. And so here I had it created in my mind. I had this fear, oh my goodness, I must have cancer. And there was no cancer at all. And so that was just a reminder of me that, like you say, I need to reframe it. Chances are that it's just a stopped up saliva duct, which was what the dentist originally told me that it could be. And so it just reminds me that whenever I'm having a painful week, whether it's and I did lose my job one time when I was in my late 40s, and I've had other painful experiences, whether it's been with family or illness or loss of a loved one and things like that. So there's painful things that happen in our lives, and so I began to ask myself whenever I'm in a painful situation, I think, is this the worst week I've ever had? And the answer to that is always, no, this isn't the worst week I've ever had. But then my response is, haven't I survived every other week? Well, I have. So chances are good that since I've survived every other painful week in my life, and this isn't the worst painful week I've ever had, chances are really good I'm going to survive this one too. So I've learned to reframe that to like we've talked about before, to always list something that I'm thankful for, because it doesn't matter what kind of pain I'm going through. I can always look around and see someone that's going through something much worse than what I'm going through.
Wow, that is powerful, Mark. It's clearly demonstrated our mind is very imaginative. It's very powerful. But the unlucky thing is it tend to imagine the worst possible scenario. But what we have to do is realize that it's not always accurate. And there's a story that we could choose to tell ourselves, and we could choose to train our mind to imagine a possible better outcome, a hopeful outcome, a better story. We don't get to choose every situation in our life, like losing a job, like something bad happened to us, or a scenario that we undesirable, but we do get to choose the story that we tell ourselves. We get to choose the thought that we tell ourselves. So whenever a negative thought come up, take a deep breath, pause, question its validity, give it a new thought to think about, and back up the new thought with the evidence of why it's possible. Choose the thought that serves you so that it can help you create the result that you want.